Armada Book 2 Chapter 7 The Armada Part 2. You don't think you can just walk away from a job well done like that, do you? Albert asked, smiling. Eric, Linda and Keelmill were absolutely surprised. They stood there and Eric signaled to Andrew, "What's up?" They felt Daisy pulling them to a certain spot and they just followed. Then they see Andrew and Harold stand beside Albert carrying something. Albert started, "Colonel Eric Joyce, you have performed your duties above and beyond what is called for by your rank, and as your president I am promoting you to the rank of Brigadier General." That was all Eric heard. He realized Albert got a medal Andrew was holding and started pinning it on his shirt. Then Albert turned to Linda, promoted her to Brigadier General as well and gave her a medal. Keelmill received the same medal and the president gave him the rank of captain. Then the people started congratulating them. Keelmill was especially proud to have the rank of captain with a medal too. It was the first time he had ever heard of a Mac become a captain. "I would like to welcome you to our team, Linda. Your ship is waiting for you parked at Planet Los Angeles." Andrew said. "You don't know how much this means to me, sir. I don't want to show that I'm so excited, but I am. I am shaking in excitement." Linda said. "Just call me Andrew, we are both generals now, you know." "If you like, sir, I will call you Andrew, sir." "Eric, do you know the real reason why you deserve your rank?" Albert asked. "I think I know. We generated enough money to sustain the Armada for 10 years. That's one. Another is because you saved my ass. And still another is that you helped Julia stabilize 2 very contentious pains in the ass. And still another is you made a lot of off-world people richer, including the government. I was just doing my job under the circumstances." Harold interjected, "Treason is going beyond your job, Eric. You never spy on senators. But then, we would never have moved the ball forward had you not committed these acts of treason. Anyway, well done, Eric, very well done. But I never got to see the sex tapes." Andrew noted. Vicky suddenly appeared beside him and nudged Andrew. Andrew overacted the nudge and almost fell. "Congratulations, Eric," Vicky said and shook his hand. "Keelmill, how does it feel to be a captain in Andrew's Armada?" Harold asked. "I can show this to my family, and they will be very happy and proud. You are one of the very few with that rank. We started giving ranks to Max and to the Norsets, Inkeys and even Bofengs to better integrate them to the organizational structure. But for you, a ship is waiting at Planet Los Angeles." Andrew said. "I get to be ship captain, Andrew?" Keelmill asked. "Yes, captain." Andrew thought Max must be taught what ranks mean. He has always been a strict commander. But then the Armada is a mix not only of different nationalities on Earth speaking several languages, but of several species from several galaxies from different planets with different regions and with different languages and cultures. Different ships, different technologies, different sleeping patterns, different food and eating habits. He instead capitalized on their motivation to do the right thing all the time. And they have pulled through so far. Eric, I am proud of what you did. When last we talked about this in flowery medieval language which sounded idiotic at Vicky's house, we could not have seen how they were too desperate. Now their mistake gave us a golden opportunity that you and Harold seized. It just made my job much easier," Julia said. Julia congratulated Linda as well. "You could not have known you would hit General when we were talking about the case at Vicky's." Linda nodded, "Never in a million years. I am so excited. Everything moved so fast. Some of the people went to get some refreshments and most of them went back to work." Albert announced, "Okay guys, let's have that informal discussion Vicky wants us to do at the conference room." They went to the conference room and Albert took the floor. In front sat Ellie, Layla, and Vicky. "Please take your seat, ladies and gentlemen. This is an informal discussion to throw an idea into the field. Vicky, since you started this, can you begin the discussion, please?" Albert said and motioned to Vicky. Vicky stood and took the podium. "Last month I went to my old stomping grounds at JPL, and I felt really bad about it. It being the dichotomy of knowledge that exists. We, the off-world people, are so busy trying to make sense of the new technologies that are so very, very far from what our people on Earth know or even imagine. I called the president and talked to him about my feelings, and he understood and wanted to open the idea for discussion about how to go about this. The idea is to open the off-world to our scientific community on a limited scale. My idea is to identify high-security and top-level workers in our major science facilities and give them information on new technologies that they can learn. One of the major reasons, if not the main reason, is really money. I see a lot of waste of large amounts of money, also time and long-term resources. Olive, please." Olive presented a hologram of graphs and tables. Vicky continued, "Here is the amount of money we spend on these major project groups on Earth. These are the number of people involved in the projects. This is the number of people involved with the projects that are presently targeted for recruitment. We are spending close to $448 billion a year on all these project groups. And these numbers take into account the funding cuts the president did on science projects like what happened to me. If we drop these projects now, we will save more than half this amount. Is there anybody here that can tell me what benefit the country gets developing these projects? She looked at Layla and nodded. Layla stood and walked over to the podium. Vicky stepped aside to her right. These projects have no benefit because they are working on technologies much too old as far as we are concerned. Just recently Vicky introduced food production and some basic telecom technologies to help the US get ahead some more. These technologies rendered several projects useless. Next year we have identified chemical and medical technologies that would benefit the whole mankind on Earth short of making them live longer. This will help stave off the old-timers who are beyond our reach. We would also introduce new chemicals that have industrial applications. Some projects would be rendered useless. We have to release these technologies again, the purpose of which is to help mankind but primarily to keep the US ahead and generate revenues to support off-world activities. Now we can use them to preempt the release by having them work on the technologies before they are released. Again, after some retraining on what they would be releasing. Layla looked at Ellie. Ellie also stood and approached the podium. I have a list of who to recruit. The Max updated the list and it got longer to around 15,000. When the kidnapping started, the recruitment stopped. Now we can resume. But as Vicky pointed out, most will be left out in the cold. These are scientists, like us, devoted to the work, smart and hardworking. To date, the off-world scientists have more or less settled in. They are now organized into projects, some purely human, Max included some with alien complements. Off-world, breakthroughs in any area occur regularly among our off-world people and among the alien groups in their home galaxies, and we are all privy to these breakthroughs. But on Earth we spend billions of dollars on things we already know where they would lead to. Vicky spoke beside Ellie. Imagine, if you will, a JPL personnel living in Pasadena, wakes up, drive the kids to school, goes to work, gets beamed out to say Planet Seattle, works on the drone propulsions and telecom systems with the Norsets. At the end of the day, he goes home and have dinner with his family at 6 or 7 p.m. Or we can simply create a top-secret facility in an army base or underground base, beam him there to work and beam him back after work. The secret would still be secure, and we could have more work done. Most importantly, we are happy our fellow scientists are given the best opportunities in working on projects for which they have worked very hard for. Of course, they would have to spend the first 6 or more months studying technologies on areas they will be assigned on. Let's just spend the money to retrain our scientists. I threw this concept at the Canadians, Germans and Japanese and many others, and they are optimistic that this would be very feasible. I got positive reactions. We are now throwing the question to the audience, including the president. Ellie said. Harold commented, my only concern is security. You know, like the Chinese and Russian hired the best hackers. Now they could not match the Norset team Eric had, but they can hack into Earth systems quite easily. With the two countries neutralized, the threat now may come from other countries. Or corporations. People on Earth are accessible to the temptations money can give. Off-world people are secure because they are simply off-world. If we have people on Earth, it could be messy. The decision must make sure security is never compromised. Andrew stood. I would suggest developing a training program on very specific technologies on areas of their expertise so they can just learn first, say in the first 6 or so months. This way, the information is not complete at the start. You don't have to stand, Andrew. Sit down. Vicky instructed and the room laughed. Seriously, Andrew has something there. Why don't we create a 6-month technology conference and invite them, bring them to Planet Seattle for 6 months, train them and send them back after 6 months. Their alibi among their friends and peers are solid, they just attended a 6-month conference. It's just that it wasn't on Earth. Julia said. In the meantime, all their present work simply stops? Tony asked. Vicky explained, as I said, I see wasted time, money, and logistics. Take the Mars colonization expedition, the president keeps delaying it by delaying the budget. The people simply could not understand why the president is behaving the way he is behaving. But we do. So instead of wasting money paying their salaries and have them accomplish nothing, let's just teach them or retrain them. If we implement a training program, at least the salary we pay them, which we pay anyway no matter what, is put to good use. And yes, the present work simply stops. It stops wasting money. Eric added, the Norsets were able to create a world space separate from the internet and connected all the computers of the bad boys. We can do this too with our scientists. We make their computers advance holographic terminals where they can learn while at work. It would still be secure because the terminals would know who is using it. All the terminals are hooked up with the space station data systems or to one of the new ships which would be parked somewhere near the spaceport. The ship's hologram would be the teacher. They don't have to leave Earth or even change their assignments. My Norset hackers can do this in no time at all. Let's say after the committee we formed to finalize the action plans come out with a 6 to 12-month training program for our community of scientists. Then maybe another 6 to 12-month training program and another. My point is somewhere down the road, we would have to make them earn their pay by assigning worthwhile projects to them like we do the off-worlders. This will be a security issue. Fine, the medical and chemical technologies slated to be released they can work on and it becomes an ongoing project, but this will only involve a few scientists, not the whole of the scientific community we are training. And we expect all of this would be out in 3 to 4 years. So timing is not on the side of training. Maybe for a year or pushing it another year, but not 3 to 4 years. They could be doing triple PhDs by then. The picture is not clear. Harold explained. Or we can kick the can down the road and look only at a 6 to 1 year training scenario. See what happens to the security and the money and maybe adjust or renew our plans from there. It does not make sense to have a 4 or 5 year plan on something that is subject to a lot of change and adjustment. Julia said. I agree with the volatile nature of things. With our receipt of the new ships, it suddenly dawned on us the size of money required to keep the armadas afloat. Money is now an issue. More sooner than later, we would have to start taxation in the planets to support our government. It's a good thing Timmy has reorganized the planets and taxation is the natural progression of things. From the start, the government has built houses, communities, infrastructure in the planets. Unlike the Inkies, Max and Norsets who have the scale of several galaxies and built up wealth from thousands of years of long lifetimes that support their off-world operations and armadas, we only have Earth and not all of it is in on the support and we have not even completed a long lifetime. We should immediately implement money-saving actions items and plan more aggressively to make sure our technological advantage makes the off-world worlds richer. Andrew explained. That was a long one, Andrew. And I agree with your view completely. Harold said. And it's not because Vicky could have influenced your views? Albert asked. My views are mine alone, Albert, right honey? The people laughed. Yes honey, I will agree that your views are your own. The people laughed a little bit more. We are at the threshold of a changing world not only on small areas but in total. There is no excuse for wasting money. We should stop it right away. We are not made of money. I would take Julie's point of view and I would support Andrew's view on taxation. I would also like you, Harold, to be even more aggressive hitting our enemies where it hurts. Their hurt is our gain. Vicky, please draw up the action plans on the future of Earth scientists and science programs. A 6-month or total of 1 year re-education program is more suitable at the moment. Finally, I would support our off-world businessmen with money and logistics since their gain is ours also. Albert said. It really all about the money? Eric asked. Yes, as always. Harold answered Eric. After the short meeting, Andrew approached Linda and, are you ready for a walkthrough of your ship, General Bourne? I am so ready. Andrew turned to Keelmill. Keelmill, there are 2 unique ships which are smaller but has more powerful engines for faster travel. Would you like to have one of them? Or would you like the one Linda and Eric has? These smaller ships are really specially designed scout ships with 4 times the scanning capabilities, twice the communications power and moves very fast because the engine in a ship like Olive is installed in a ship half its size. One of only 2 fast ships, I like that. I want to see it, but let's go around with Linda at her ships first. Shall we, Eric? Of course. I am not too familiar with the new ships myself. Olive, where are you? Olive appeared and, yes Andrew. Linda will have the ship parked nearest to you, Keelmill will get one of the 2 fast ships and Eric, just let Eric choose his ship among the unassigned ones. Power those 2 now. Andrew said. Olive, beam us to the ship please, my ship. They found themselves in a bridge with Olive. The ship came to life with lights going on and a hum almost inaudible to human hearing range. The ship was empty of any personnel, human or otherwise. The bridge is open like Andrew's old ship with a conference and reception area at the rear of the captain's chair. The wall surrounding her was plain, although she knows it could turn into holographic screens and whatever she likes. In front was a window showing space, and that's about all that evidences that this is really a ship and not just a clean warehouse office. Olive just stood there. What would you name your ship, Linda? Eric asked. I get to name my ship. Of course, I knew that. Let me think. You also have to name your ship AI. Olive, show me the stars in the movie Great Gatsby. There, that guy in the middle, what's his name? She looked at Olive. Robert. I want my AI to look like that. Eric countered, but he is so old, why not get a new and younger guy? Make him look 10 years younger. There, he looks almost like my dad when he was very much younger. Olive, tell this ship to produce an AI looking like that. Maybe younger some more, say by 5 years. Almost instantaneously, an AI appeared. Hello, Linda, how would you like to call me? Jesse. See Eric, he looks really good. Jesse asked, what would you like to name your ship? Olive disappeared. USS Jesse Bourne, that's my dad's name. He was in the Air Force but was shot down and killed in the field. Daddy's girl, I understand. And a proud daddy's girl. Jesse noted, our bots will put your dad's name in a few moments. Let's go around. This should look like my ship, so it's a tour for me as well. Eric said. As they were walking out the bridge, Linda turned to Jesse. Jesse, tell me about yourself. I was completed 68 days ago and I am the most advanced ship of the first Armada class in the Norset, Mac, Inkeys and Human galaxies. Andrew and Ellie's ships are of a different class, as you would find out. Linda, Eric and Keelmill continued walking down the hall, to the mess hall, which was empty, rode an elevator to the cargo bay, then to the engine room, then back up to a deck lined with crew quarters, then to the ship's function room at the back. Then they looked at the captain's quarters and Linda was impressed. This looks better than my house in Planet Los Angeles. It does look like a large condo with 2 bedrooms, like there could be 2 captains, 2 baths, a reception dining area, and a common function area. Eric added and gazed at one of the paintings. He somehow could not imagine the Norset decorators can be so Earth-centric. I need to go to Earth and do some shopping. The color scheme is really out of my taste. I also want some accent chairs and a nice table over there. Jesse, where's the captain's study? One of the rooms can be the captain's office, although the real one, which is a lot bigger, is nearer the mission hall before the bridge. Linda opened the door to the next room, and it was a modern office with a nice wall cabinet. I don't like the color. Jesse, can you tell some of the crew to repaint this off-white with a touch of light green? These are wall-coated but can be painted over as you like. Linda ran her hand on the wall trying to feel it. It's blue-themed. I like it. But I guess to each his or her own ship. But you have to buy several sets of furnishings for the ship housekeepers to make your quarters for you in the colors or styles you like. Eric said. Show me the crew's quarters, please. Jesse created a hologram of a cross-section of the ship, and the crew quarters are colored yellow. What are these rooms? Linda asked Jesse. They're classrooms and conference rooms for the crew to learn. Based on Armada experience, the crew often need training, especially the other life forms that become part of the crew. The regular rotation of ship crew also require continuous retraining. These rooms also function as their group mission rooms where they plan their deployment. Group learning takes away the boredom in the ship. Language training alone is a continuous program for all crew members. Linda noted, there are more than a dozen first officer quarters for the crew leaders. And the crew quarters are like larger dorm rooms for 2. This is very unlike our old ships, which was 8 to a room. There are also crew quarters near their operating areas. Eric noted, there are also mess halls at 1 per floor, and very large ones at that. Keelmill asked, Jesse, how many TPs does this ship have? 14 areas in 6 major floors, 6 industrial per floor, 7 high volumes and 1 targeted. This ship has 1 targeted mining TP, and all TPs have the ability to beam objects or people from anywhere in the ships or anywhere really, even at the highest ship velocity, to a target area within 80 mly as long as they are tagged. He highlighted the TPs in a brighter light and colored them green. I like the placement of the TPs, very functional and allows easy access to men and equipment. Eric said. How many drone batteries does this ship have? Linda asked. Jesse produced a hologram of the drone areas and parts of the ship. Right now you only have 500 batteries or 5,000 drones, here and here, but you can carry up to 10,000 drones. These rooms running through the middle of the ship are for the drone operators. The drone batteries run along the top middle of the ship from bow to stern. These areas here are for physical training and other forms of exercise. The gyms are over here. You have a dozen sabers and a dozen transport ships in 2 transport bays. The maintenance areas are here at the end. I did not see any opening in the ship like a transport bay or drone hatches or even doors for that matter. Eric said. The bay doors are holograms. Normally, we do not need doors or openings because the ships can just TP out of the ship. Even the personnel do not pass through the portside doors because they TP in for security purposes. The ship is solid and enclosed with all openings locked. The bay doors can still be opened but would rarely be used. The drones are beamed out of the batteries to their initial destinations if they are within range. How about plasma cannons? Linda asked. 120 cannons all around the ship, they have automatic hatches. Jesse showed where they were. How many people do I need to run this ship? Linda asked. Just you, otherwise none. If I need a person, I just use one of my 882 specialized bots which come in various shapes and sizes for whatever purpose. There are also smaller repair bots scattered all over. We may need repair crews during combat, but normally, we don't. Eric asked, can anybody steal this ship, Jesse? Jesse thought for a while. It would not be possible without Linda. It will not even be possible to get in without my knowledge. All personnel in the ship get in through TPs and they are tagged automatically or not if they already are regular crews, and their movements are recorded all the time. If a crew is missing, an automatic search among the ships is done, then among the immediate planets within 80 MLY range, and the issue becomes a ship alert point that would have to be resolved. If an untagged person or persons come on board, I would know. And they would be tagged. Once tagged, any threatening moves from intruders will immediately land them in the brig in time boxes. The captain is recognized in detail once she comes in. All the crews are also recognized in detail. How much detail? Linda asked. Very detailed. The body scans of all the crews are very precise down to the bone marrow in humans and microscopic spine structures, for example, in other species. We know our crew in detail. What if an attack crew comes at times when there are no crew on board? Eric asked. As I said, I have multi-purpose and unique robots, almost indestructible, especially for some of the robots that are armored. So, a ship cannot be jacked. I guess that's good. But then who in his right mind would steal a ship? Linda asked. Jesse continued, you must understand I would know where you are all the time as long as you're within scan range, which is up to 600 MLY. And once assigned to a captain, the assignment is permanent until either the captain is killed or the ship is destroyed. The Armada rules drawn up by the humans, Max, Inkeys and Norsets govern all the ships. Have they solved the rank and uniform problem? Eric asked. As you know, the Armada still follows the long list. They have not decided on the uniforms though, and you would see different aliens using their own uniforms. For example, the Inkeys have many different uniforms which are much more colorful than humans, and they wear these depending on their tasks. The humans have the most ordinary and least colorful, and you wear the same uniform for almost all kinds of tasks. The armor that the species wear underneath or over their uniforms have not been decided on also. Our Armada does not report to one species but to the group of aliens that contributed to the Armada. Linda asked. Andrew's orders do not come from his home world but from the council composed of those species based on the armistice agreement signed by the parties. The command structures are based on the species. Although Andrew is the overall commander, and the ships can be reassigned among all the aliens. The Norsets and Inkeys operate under Andrew, and some have human captain ships among them. They are agreed on a multi-alien command structure based on a combination of the three major species in the long list. This command structure did not exist before? Linda asked. Yes, and it is still being carefully studied whether it will work out or not. If not, they would have to make adjustments. Linda, I think the problem is because the humans, while multinational, have very rigid structures, the Inkeys also have a very rigid and even more formal structure that has existed for millions of years. The Norset structure is the most formal but less rigid of the three. Before anything was even finalized, the three command structures were listed in one long list, and the one below a rank is precisely that, under that rank. Eric said. Does this cause Andrew some problems? Linda asked. Not really. What Andrew says is law. They just have to make sure they understand to separate the joke from reality. From the start, his approach to the structure has been to be light and understanding. And the crew follows this. The tasks are well defined and those assigned understand the task and work. There is no rank pulling for tasks since these are well defined. The ship AI is often consulted if there are issues involved which both parties do not know or want to define or explain. Come on, let's go to Kilmill's ship, Jesse, please. Eric said. At Kilmill's ship? This bridge is amazing. Looks so sleek. Keelmill said as he moved to touch the captain's chair. You know, buddy, you're right, this looks so sleek compared to Linda's. Eric said. Linda noted, the chair design looks sportier as well. Maybe I should change ship and get the other one. She looked at Jesse and, no, I like my ship already. They went around and the captain's stateroom, which is similar to Linda's, making Keelmill extremely happy. The whole ship is similar to Linda's but smaller. Are there any new recruits for the new ship, Jesse? Linda asked. Yes, although there's room for more. They recruited only half of the standard minimum crew complement. You are expected to recruit or get your own people. I like that. I'll get some of the team from the space station. Linda said. You have to work fast, those guys are high up in the recruit list. Eric said. I will recruit a lot of Max. Keelmill said. Keelmill, there is a standard ratio of species for us to meet the optimal demands of our missions. A lot are getting in my head as we speak. Keelmill said, and Eric and Linda laughed. Eric explained, as a scout ship I would get more Norsets and Inkies, fewer taggers but some ground troops. Yes, Jesse is telling me the crew complement required for this type of ship and purpose. Well, you cannot depend on Jesse, this ship has its own AI, use it. Eric said. I guess it takes some getting used to the new role. Keelmill said. I have to beam back to Earth and do some shopping. Jesse, I will just call you to beam whatever else I buy to the ships. Linda said. Yes, Linda. I will give you an Armada credit card for you to use. It will be in your name. Linda disappeared. Well, I am not going to buy anything. Aren't you going to your ship, Eric? Eric smiled and disappeared. At his new ship, Eric sat on the captain's chair in the bridge. Kristen appeared. Your ship is exactly that same as Linda's, including the light blue color motif. Do you want to change the color, Eric? No. I like it enough. Eric sat on his chair and looked around at the plain and empty bridge except for Kristen. Kristen, do you like your new you? I am better. Have you moved all our things and your data? I chose this ship and started when you first beamed to Linda's ship. This AI is your new ship's AI, and I must say I am much better, bigger, stronger, faster, and smarter. All data transfers have been completed. Sometimes I want to just fly around by myself and look at places, just you and me. You can do that. We have enough power for thousands of years and trillions of BLYs. The bots will keep the ship well maintained and your food will just be created for you. Let's go for a joy ride. Where? Straight ahead for 1 BLY. He pointed in front of him. The front part of the bridge opens up to show the stars. He felt his chair push a little and he knows he is moving. He felt good being alone flying among the stars with no place to go and no definite intention other than to be alone among the stars. Keelmill's ship is behind us, trailing 10 LY away. His ship is fast. Keelmill's hologram appeared. Can I go with you, Eric? Of course, buddy, I was just trying out my new ship. As I am. And I found out she is really fast. I can see that. Let's fly for 12 hours then come back. I think that would be enough for me to study this ship as it moves around. Sure, a day away is okay. That rhymes, buddy.